The breathing closet. The house with secrets. Mike had always been skeptical of ghost stories. When he moved into his new apartment, a small but affordable place in an old building, he didn't pay much attention to its eerie atmosphere. The landlord mentioned that the previous tenant had left in a hurry, but Mike didn't care. It was close to his workplace, and the rent was cheap. However, from the very first night, he noticed something unsettling: the sound of slow, deep breathing coming from the closet. At first, he convinced himself it was his imagination, perhaps the creaks of an old wooden structure settling. But the sound was rhythmic, deliberate, and undeniably human. Every night, as soon as he turned off the lights, the breathing started. The denial Mike tried everything to rationalize it. Maybe there was a vent inside the closet. He checked, nothing. Maybe it was coming from the neighbors. But the sound was too close, as if someone was standing right behind the door, just inches away. He started recording the sound on his phone. When he played it back in the morning, he could hear it clearly, slow, deep, and unnatural. His friends laughed when he played it for them, calling it a prank or a trick of the mind. But Mike knew better. He could feel it, the presence, the weight of something unseen, waiting. The investigation. Determined to put an end to his paranoia, Mike decided to investigate the history of his apartment. He visited the landlord, an old man named Mr. Grayson, and asked about the previous tenants. Mr. Grayson's face darkened. "That apartment? I don't like talking about it. The last guy, well, he left suddenly, just disappeared, left everything behind." "Did something happen in that apartment?" Mike pressed. The old man hesitated before muttering, "Some say it's cursed. The closet specifically. People who stay there, they don't stay for long." Mike felt a chill run down his spine. He returned home with a sense of unease. That night he didn't sleep. The breathing was louder, closer, and this time he swore he heard a whisper. The dare Mike's friend, Jason, didn't believe in ghosts. "If you're so scared, let's open the damn closet together," he suggested one evening. Mike hesitated. He had never actually opened it at night. The idea terrified him, but with Jason there, he felt braver. At midnight, they stood in front of the closet. The breathing was there, slow and heavy. Jason laughed. "It's just in your head, man. Watch." He grabbed the handle and yanked the door open. Silence. The closet was empty. Jason smirked. "See? No ghosts, no monsters, just—" Then the lights flickered. The temperature in the room dropped suddenly, and the closet door slammed shut on its own. Jason's smirk faded. A new sound joined the breathing, a low, guttural growl. Jason and Mike bolted out of the room, slamming the bedroom door behind them. They spent the night in the living room, neither speaking a word about what had happened. The nightmare that night, Mike dreamed of the closet. In his dream, he stood in front of it, unable to move. The door creaked open on its own, revealing darkness, so dark it seemed to swallow the light. Then something stepped out. A figure, tall, thin, its face obscured in shadows. It didn't move, but Mike could hear its breathing, right next to his ear. Then it spoke, in a voice like dead leaves rustling in the wind. "You weren't supposed to open it." Mike woke up gasping. The breathing was louder than ever. He turned on the light. The closet door was open. The descent. Over the next few days, Mike's world unraveled. Shadows moved in the corners of his vision. The breathing followed him, at work, in the shower, even outside. He started seeing glimpses of something in mirrors, reflections that didn't match his movements. Desperate, he called Jason, but his friend didn't answer. When he went to Jason's apartment, his roommate said Jason hadn't come home since that night. Then strange things began happening. Objects moved on their own. Scratches appeared on the walls. The whispering started. "You shouldn't have opened it." Mike was losing his mind. The return determined to end it, he decided to confront whatever was in the closet. Armed with a flashlight and a knife, he stood in front of the door. The breathing was there, waiting. He threw the door open. Darkness. A void. But this time something stared back. It had no eyes, only deep, hollow sockets. Its mouth was twisted into a grin, revealing jagged teeth. Its limbs were too long, its fingers stretched unnaturally. It reached out. Mike screamed as he was pulled into the darkness. The missing days passed. Mike's apartment remained silent. The landlord knocked on the door, but there was no answer. When he finally entered, the place was abandoned. The furniture was untouched, but Mike was gone. The only strange thing was the closet. Its door was wide open. Inside, deep scratches covered the walls, and written in shaky, bloody letters were 3 words. I opened it. The next tenant weeks. Later, a new tenant moved in, a young woman named Lisa. Her first night was quiet, but as she lay in bed, she noticed something odd. A faint sound, slow, deep breathing, coming from the closet. And then, a whisper. You weren't supposed to open it. The end.